My name is Retraining, the owner of KG Fit, and today I want to go very quick over the importance of diaphragmatic breathing and why it's so important to start with proper breathing before you go in actually any kind of core exercise. So you have to know how to engage the core properly, otherwise you're not going to get the benefits out of it over the short and long run. And very often you will continue to have problems with clients or with people that have back issues. So I have another video out there where I'm talking about what muscles are involved in the core. I'm just going to go real quick. On the bottom we have the pelvic floor, on the top we have the diaphragm, and then we have several muscles that pretty much wrap around and create a perfect cylinder. The reason why we have to start with the breathing is we have to learn to use the diaphragm properly as we breathe in. So the diaphragm is on the top, and as we breathe in, actually into the belly, the diaphragm flattens. A lot of people, specifically women, they tend to breathe out of aesthetic reasons in the chest, but they don't breathe properly into the belly. So they don't pull the diaphragm all the way down, and what happens is that they don't use the full range and they don't activate all the core muscles. So when you actually breathe in with the diaphragm properly, you also activate the pelvic floor and a lot of other core muscles. And that's why it's so important to start with the breathing first. I'm going to show very quick. The best way I usually teach is I let the client put one hand on the belly and one on the chest, and then I tell them to breathe in. And usually it looks like something like this. People breathe all the way in the chest. So what happens, they use a lot of the neck muscles, they get the scalenes especially, they get very gritty, very tight, and they get also more tension headaches. So important is then to realize that you want to, as you breathe in through the nose, pass the hand on your chest and breathe into the belly button basically. So you want to breathe all the way down here and make a big belly while you breathe in. Another good way of getting a good feedback is when I put my hand on the back, on the side of the client's belly. So you push into the side, and then I say like breathe into my hands. So you breathe in and extend. Here it's important to learn not only to breathe into the front, like you want to imagine that you're breathing in like 360 degrees. So by doing that, we are really using our full lung capacity. But it's also important later on as we engage the core for different exercises. The core should be always engaged in a way that it's appropriate to the movement. So meaning if we are lifting like heavier weights, we should engage with full force. So it means that we breathe into the belly, make a big belly, and then we basically the air that we have here down here in the belly, we tuck it in, we stabilize it so that the belly gets hard. So sometimes what people do, they breathe into the belly, but then as they engage, they tuck in up here. So you want to make sure that you stay with the diaphragm all the way pulled down and then stabilize down here. A lot of trainers unfortunately miss this part. It's very simple to fix. And also it's a retraining. So it's important that you check that on a daily basis. Because sometimes if somebody gets stressed, we all start to breathe more in the chest. So it's important to decompress. I do that always to check when I'm driving in the car and I have to stop on the stop sign. I just check my breathing. Am I centered? Am I breathing slowly all the way into the belly? And you can also bring somebody back in. If somebody comes and has a stressful day and you realize they're breathing all the way in the chest, you start with diaphragmatic breathing so it helps them to decompress. Also breathing, remember, it is the best way to access your subconscious mind. So meaning breathing is a conscious but also a subconscious aspect. So usually we don't think about breathing in a conscious manner, so we just breathe, but we have the ability, if we focus on our breathing, to get from a sympathetic, so go mode, back into the parasympathetic state of mind and decompress. Most of the day we should be in a parasympathetic state of mind, so we should be decompressed and relaxed. Just when we need the energy, we should be able to push ourselves and use all of the energy. So there are several reasons why breathing is important. What I encourage you to create more awareness of your breathing, how you breathe, and reprogram your breathing so you start to breathe all the time, or almost always with your diaphragm deep into the belly. You want to feel or see the belly button basically come forward as you breathe in. So that's why it's important to start with the breathing, and then you can translate this into other core exercises in your workout. I hope you like it. Give me a thumbs up or share this video if it helped you.